Despite the impact on your wages, you may feel you have to vote for these proposals because it is in the national interest. Let us assure you that this is not the case. The government claims that it will save over €1 billion from these proposals, but they know that this isn't so. Cuts do not equal savings. In the first instance, the government loses direct tax revenue in the form of income tax and PSA, universal social charge, pension levy, and pension contributions. This will eat up over €500 million of those cuts. Then there is the loss of consumer spending. These proposals will take nearly €500 million out of the consumer economy. This will reduce VAT revenue and taxes from businesses. Thirdly, because of the reduced consumer spending, we will find that employment will fall by 5,000, half of whom will be in the private sector. This will not only drive down tax revenue even further, it will also drive up public spending through higher unemployment costs. When you go through all the jigs and reels of the economic and fiscal analysis, we will find that at the end of the day, the government will save 250 million euros and probably less. Let's put that in perspective. 1 billion euros in cuts will reduce the deficit by a fraction, 0.1%. That is why the government won't answer a fundamental question. How much will these cuts really save? Because if they did, people would realize that these cuts make no sense at all. And that's why when the ISRI studied the impact of a number of tax and spending cut measures on the public finances, they found that cutting public sector wages is the least effective way to reduce the deficit. Public sector workers are being asked to swallow a pay deal that will average out at about a 5% cut. But this is not the end of it. Every year, inflation is eating away at workers' wages, whether in the public or the private sector. When you factor this in, the pay cuts will actually equal 10% in real terms over the lifetime of the agreement. And this figure will be higher for shift workers. And then, when you consider the additional taxation coming down the line, property tax, water charges, further cuts in child benefit and other income support, the cuts in disposable income will be higher still. It is a callous government that continually comes back to a group of workers who have already taken so many hits in their pay to look for more, especially when it knows it will have little effect on the public finances. So if public sector workers reject this deal, they should know that in so doing, they are voting to increase consumer spending and keep more businesses in business. They are voting to keep more private sector workers in their jobs. They are voting for higher economic growth. And they needn't worry about the impact on public finances because there's hardly any.
Now we're gonna stand up, never gonna let them take us down today. Gotta keep our head up, 'cause you know they only want it their own way. Hey, never give up, don't you know they're gonna fight you all the way. So when you feel that you can't go on, They can't push us away.